biggest lesson I've learned in the roofing business? Man, there's been so many lessons. I think one of them, though, that really stands out to me is we grew too fast, or we grew really fast early on. We had a really explosive handful of years. And I think one of the lessons I learned was we just, every time we had a challenge or a system or a process or something that we need to figure out, we had a tendency to just hire people and throw them at problems. So what happened was I found myself really top heavy. I found the company in a situation where we grew really fast, but we hired even faster, and we hired too many people, and ultimately our overhead was really high. And when the market shifted, it caused a lot of challenge for our business. And unfortunately, one of the worst things I ever had to do in my business was to lay people off and let people go. So I learned from that. I definitely learned to be very methodical on how we hire and develop people as we grow our business. How do you differentiate yourself in a crowded market? Here's the thing. I believe at my core that any business that is going to be successful in a crowded market, or any market for that matter, it must execute, and it must be convicted by its core values. And in order for us to be very competitive and really stand out in a really crowded market, it starts with that. We created core values for our business. We live by those core values. We make sure to hire, train, and retain people, and really integrate those core values in everything we do in our business. But more importantly, we focus heavily on the customer journey. And with the emphasis with everyone in the business, when we focus on that customer journey and we focus on customer experience, and we make decisions based on how is that experience going to be from the time the phone rings all the way through the end when we're collecting that final check and we're asking for a referral, we really focus on how to create an exceptional customer experience every step of the way. And in doing so, that has helped us really stand out and really thrive in a really crowded market. I mean, we've become one of the top, if not the number one rated company in one of the largest markets in the country. And I think at its core, it's because we really focus on our core values, and we make sure that every customer gets an incredible experience. And the way we do that is by setting really reasonable expectations with a focus of over delivering on those expectations. Oh man, if I could go back to day one in my business, what would I do differently? I think that, sure, there's lots of things I would do differently, but I'm in a situation where I was able to restart. I was able to restart my business and do it again. But going back to right at the beginning, I don't think I would do anything differently. And the reason is I needed to make those mistakes. I needed to grow up. I needed all of the humble pie that I had to take. I mean, I started my business, as a really young kid, just looking back, and there was a lot of ego, and I wasn't centered. I didn't really know who I was, and I made a lot of dumb mistakes. But looking back, I'm grateful for those mistakes. I'm grateful for the journey that I've had, because it's really helped me, build something special and create a life that I believe is very, very special, that I get to spend a lot of my time pouring into others and helping others grow and learn from the mistakes that I made. So I don't really have any regrets, and I learned from all my mistakes. Man, that's so challenging. I wish we had a magic wand. But the question is, what's my go-to strategy for closing more deals in the slow season? I think the reality of it is we just have to understand that there's cycles in business and cycles in life, right? Compare it to weather cycles. When you have summer, things are great. But here's the thing, there's going to be a fall. There's going to be winter. There's going to be spring, and there's going to be summer. It's a cycle. So I feel like what we need to be doing as visionaries for our business is, in the summer when things are going really well, The visionary needs to be thinking of the winter, needs to be thinking of the fall, needs to be thinking ahead, thinking of how do I set my business up for success in the slow time, in the winter, and vice versa. When things are in the winter, we need to be optimistic. We need to be focused on how do we, set ourselves up for the spring and for the summer in our business. And if we get into the cycle and understand that the cycle is coming, it eases the impact on our business, and it doesn't create a situation where we tend to like, oh my gosh, I don't have any business, I'm freaking out. Because if you're really smart with your money, with your overhead, with your leads, with your referrals, and setting your business up for success in those slow periods, it makes it a lot easier. But to get more deals, right? Here's the thing, you got to sharpen your saw. During the slower season, that is the time to focus on sharpening your saw. Get better. And make sure you have a really great sales system, a step-by-step system to follow. You must be really good at, connecting and asking the right questions and delivering incredible value to each and every customer. In the summer, all these customers, you have lots of opportunities, especially if you're in a hail market, there's lots of opportunities, so you can miss a few and still do fine. In the winter or in the slow season, every single contact, every single opportunity matters. So you got to be really, really good and go above and beyond in delivering exceptional value in order to sell more deals during the slow season. Oh man, I think it's actually pretty easy. And at this day and age, there's no secrets out there. There's one tool. There's a lot of tools because the reality of it is, in the 20 years I've been doing this, from when I started till now, technology has exploded. And there's an incredible amount of different technologies out there that you can use to build a very successful business and help create efficiencies in your business. And I encourage you to do so. If you're not on the technology train, you've got to get on there, and you've got to really focus on, looking at ways to create, efficiencies in your business by leveraging technology. But the one technology that I feel like I probably couldn't live without this day and age, well, there's two. One of them is our CRM system. Customer relationship management is vitally important. I need to know exactly what's going on with every single job, every single customer, every single file. So we use a company called Job Nimbus, and I've been working with them for many, many years, and we've built our entire organization off of that. And the other one is Company Cam. This is a way to document everything on your journey, on the customer journey, on every single project. So by the time you go out to a project, all the way to the final, when you're done with the project, you can document it with Company Cam. You can take pictures and you can literally document the entire process. Having that documentation is incredibly powerful in a whole bunch of different reasons. So you get a bonus one. Those are the two technologies that I don't think I could live without. Customer service. What is the most overlooked aspect of customer service in roofing, or in anything in business? That one's tricky. That one's tricky because customers are different. There's a lot of different types of customers out there. Some customers, want to be short, sweet, to the point. Some customers want you to be, part of their family before they're going to make a decision. So I think one thing that's overlooked is meeting the customer where they need to be met. And what that is it's a focus on self-awareness. It's a focus on emotional intelligence. And I think if you're a salesperson or a leader or an owner in any business, whether it's roofing or not, I think you really need to focus on yourself. Like, how do you understand who you are and become self-aware? The more self-aware you can become, the easier it becomes, the easier it gets to adjust your own personality traits, your own style, if you will, in order to meet your customers and your staff and your team and the people that work with you at their level where they need to be met. So emotional intelligence, I think, is vitally important, and we need to understand our customers better and understand where they need to be met in order to provide a great customer experience. But I also think that a company should start and end with the customer experience. My philosophy in business is I want customers for life. If I'm working with someone with the Roofing Academy, they may be with me for 6 months, they may be with me for 6 years, but regardless, my objective is to build a relationship for life. I want to do what I can to help them, build a business, and I want to build a relationship that we can be friends and we're connected for life. I want to do the same thing with my roofing company. When someone hires us to do their roof, I want a roofer. I want a customer for life. How do we do that? How do we set expectations, go above and beyond those expectations, and build a relationship and deliver so well? And even when we make mistakes, we deliver so well, or we overcome those mistakes, or we fix and we own what we did wrong. We fix it and we make it better. If we do those things, we build customers for life. Oh my goodness. How do I motivate my sales team when the morale is low? And we've been there, right? We've had so many ups and downs in our business, and it's my job to motivate the sales team, to connect with my sales team, to coach and mentor my sales team. And I think the idea is, if you create a team environment, it makes it a lot easier. And I've been on sales teams where it's every man for themselves. It's dog eat dog. It's I'm not willing to help and serve and help you. So I think first and foremost, we need to create a team environment where everyone is working together to help each other. When you can do that, when everybody's rowing in the same direction, when they're working together to help, achieve that common goal of growth, or a common goal of, certain personal income or business, revenue, it really helps create an environment where when someone is down in the dumps or the morale it gets down, it's not just my responsibility to bring them up. The team will rally around that person to help bring them up. Now, it's not a perfect science. It doesn't work all the time. We're dealing with human beings. It gets to be challenging. But that's something that I try to set a precedent up front, that, we're in this together. We win together, we lose together. And I think having that team environment really helps us overcome when morale is low. And when morale is low, let's hang out. Let's do something. Let's put work aside. Let's put the stress aside and go do something fun. Go to Topgolf, go grab, do a happy hour together, or do something together to kind of really build up that team and that culture. And that usually helps us get kind of out of it. Do something to kind of stimulate the energy and positive energy in the business. And again, the more training and the more focus we can put on sharpening our saw and getting better, it helps avoid those lulls, or helps those lulls go pretty quick. So when morale is low, it doesn't last very long. I think that the whole idea of scaling your roofing business super fast has tarnished our industry. It's created an environment where people have this perception that this is a get-rich-quick environment, and that we're a bunch of used car salesmen, and nobody's smart enough to build real businesses. And I think it's really challenging. So the question is, what's the biggest mistake that contractors make when scaling their business? I think if we think that we can just scale our business overnight, I think we're already in a wrong mindset. Maybe I'm wrong. This is how I feel about it, but I believe in building sustainable growth. I want a company that can grow year over year over year over year, that's sustainable, that's profitable, that every year when we grow a little bit, we can take some profits, we can put them away, we can invest, we can donate, we can give back, and we can slowly build our company to where it's sustainable long term. I'm always thinking long term. I'm thinking big picture, but in this industry, so many people think that, I can just scale my business overnight. And I mean, it makes sense in theory, right? All I have to do is put more people, the more people I put out on the streets, the more people I get out selling deals or knocking doors, the more deals I get, right? That's easy. All I got to do is put a whole bunch of people out in the business, or out in the field, knocking doors, and sell more roofs, and I'll scale my business overnight. But what they don't realize is the wake that happens. Okay, you have to have duplicatable, repeatable processes. You have to have a great team. You have to have the right people on the bus. Not only do you have to have the right people on the bus, but you have to have the right people in the right seats on the bus. That's not easy. That's not easy to do overnight. When you scale a business overnight, you tend to put people in bad situations. So what happens is you create an environment where there's lots of turnover. The culture is bad. People are down in the dumps. People are frustrated. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge and the number one mistake that contractors make when they scale their business too fast is they don't put an emphasis on having great hiring, training, developing, and processes in their business. So they can't, handle the growth and handle the scale because they don't have the people and the process in place to handle that. So focus on your people. Focus on creating a professional hiring and onboarding process for your business before you scale your business. And if you do that and you do a lot of other things that I've talked about, your business is going to grow organically. It's going to grow naturally where you don't have to force it. You don't have to force scale. It's going to grow at a more comfortable pace in which everyone's lives are enriched, especially your clients. So I've mentioned before that my focus, my goal for myself, for my staff, for my organization is to create customers for life. And what's my biggest tip on how to do that? I think it's actually fairly simple. And there's a cliche that says under promise and over deliver, right? And sure, that makes a lot of sense. Under promise, over deliver, that's a great thing. But at its core, I believe that what we need to do is set reasonable expectations for every single customer. Set an expectation. They should know what they're getting into when they hire you to do work, when they hire me to do work, when they choose to let me roof their house, to build whatever project it is, if I'm doing construction or whatever it is. When a client chooses to use me to work on their home, to rebuild their roof, that's a big decision. And I want to make sure that me and my sales team or whoever is involved is setting reasonable, manageable expectations with that customer. And then what we want to do is over deliver on that. Find ways to deliver a better experience than those reasonable expectations that we've already set. If you can manage to do that, you're going to create customers for life. And you're going to build a business where people come back and they're going to refer you to their friends. They're going to refer you to their neighbors. They're going to refer you to their family members. So focus on customer journey, set reasonable expectations, and over deliver on those expectations. There's a lot of competition in roofing. I mean, it depends on what market you're in, but the thing is, when people see, the golden ticket, or they see this, this get rich opportunity in the roofing business, and they're like, oh my gosh, hail, diamonds from the sky just fell, and now I can go sell roofs and get rich. So it creates a competition. There's a lot of competition in our industry, whether it's retail or insurance-based businesses or whether it's a retail or an insurance-based business model. There's a lot of competition. And how do you differentiate yourself? Especially, when you're a smaller roofing company that's competing against some of these in a market with all these larger roofing companies. So I used to be that guy. I used to be the very small roofing company. It was just a couple of us starting, and now, we're one of the largest companies in our market. So I can kind of see it from multiple perspectives, but I believe both sides have distinct advantages over the other. And now, if you're a small roofing company competing with large roofing companies, oftentimes you're the owner, or the owner of the business is still out in the field and still dealing with customers. So that alone gives you a huge advantage. You're the owner. You're the person that's making decisions. Your name on the chest it's your name on the truck. It's your name on the hats. It's your name. It's your baby. It's your business. So that alone, I would feed into that. Let people know that we're a small business and I'm the owner, or I work directly with the owner. Me and the owner are good friends. However it is, when you're smaller, you can kind of leverage that a lot. You are able to do more in-depth projects. You can kind of handle more than just roofing. Now, as you grow, I recommend you kind of get away from that. But when you're smaller, it's easier to do that. So it's easier to, handle all of the things within a hail claim. You can have a much more personalized touch. So lean into that. Human nature, people want to see other people succeed. Don't be, somebody that shows up with, hubris or arrogance. Show up with humility. You're a small business and you're trying to build something for your family, you're trying to create something. You're living the American dream. feed into that as you're dealing with your customers, and you can leverage yourself as a smaller roofing company, because now you can use the term, this I used to do this all the time, was Mr. Miss Homeowner. Like with me, you're now a friend. I'm going to be part of your life for a while, and I want to be as hands-on and take you through this process as best I possibly can. When you go with the big companies, unfortunately, you're just going to be another number. I mean, these are companies that are doing a lot more volume than we are, and you just become a number. Do you want to be a number, or do you want to be somebody that's looked at as a human being and a person and a homeowner that we can support and connect with? So there's just a couple tips to compete with some of the really big, maybe larger roofing companies. You could be a lot more nimble. I mean, think of it as, a large company is a large ship, right? If you want to turn that ship, it takes a lot to turn it 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees. But when you're smaller, you're a lot more nimble. You can adapt and adjust to the ever-changing market. You can adapt to your clients much faster. So you can change your business a little bit. You can kind of turn around. If you need to be, you're like a little speedboat that can maneuver the waters a lot easier than a large company that takes a lot more to move that around. So use that to your advantage. Be nimble, be adaptable, adjust, and understand your market, understand your clients, and use those things to your advantage.